My name is Jennifer, and these are the events that took place on the night my sister called Pastor Reynolds to our home and the hours that followed. I do not know the exact time it began, but I believe it was close to midnight. I had gone to bed earlier than usual because I had been feeling unwell for several days. The discomfort was not physical in the normal sense. It felt as if something was moving inside my chest and stomach, though medical tests earlier that week had shown nothing. I had tried to ignore it, but by that night, it had intensified to a point that I could not stay still. The first sensations were pressure and heat. They started in my abdomen and then spread through my arms, legs, and neck. I remember lying on my back and feeling my body tense without my permission, like someone else was tightening the muscles from the inside. I tried to sit up, but my head slammed back against the pillow. My teeth clenched so tightly that my jaw began to ache. I could hear myself breathing very quickly, but each breath felt shallow and strained. The heat increased until it felt like my skin was surrounded by a furnace. I tried to call for my sister, but the sound would not come out normally. When I tried to speak, it came out as a low growl that frightened me. I tried again, and the same noise came out. That was when I started thrashing because I could not control any part of myself. My legs kicked against the mattress, and my arms twisted at the elbows in ways that felt unnatural. I felt a strong pulling sensation in my chest, as if something was trying to draw me backward into the mattress. I remember hearing my sister open the door. She asked if I was okay, but I could not answer her. My vision was distorted, and I could only see her shape, not her face. She stepped closer to the bed, and I tried to reach toward her, but my arm twisted back against the mattress instead. I felt pain in my shoulder as it forced itself behind my head. My sister screamed for me to stop, but I couldn't. The heat inside me kept moving and pushing, and each push made my body jerk or contort in some way. I heard her say she was calling the pastor. I wanted to tell her not to, but I still could not form words. The internal heat had reached my throat and head. My eyes felt as if they were being squeezed from the inside. I kept writhing, turning from my back to my side and then to my stomach, and the movements felt involuntary. The pressure in my chest grew tighter, and I could hear a ringing in my ears that drowned out most other sounds. I do not know how much time passed before the pastor arrived. My sister tried to hold my shoulders down, but I kept twisting out of her grip. She cried a few times and asked me what was happening, but I could only moan in response. The moaning did not sound like my own voice. It sounded deeper and strained. When the pastor came into the room, he spoke calmly, but the moment I heard his voice, the heat in my chest intensified. I felt sharp pain that spread outward from my sternum. My body convulsed hard enough that my back arched off the mattress. I could still hear him talking to my sister, but his words sounded distant and muffled. Even though I could not make out the sentences, the sound of his voice alone made the pain worse. I felt a stabbing sensation behind my ribs that seemed to spread down my spine. He asked my sister to help him turn me onto my back and keep my arms at my sides. When they tried to hold me still, my muscles tensed and pushed against their hands. I kept writhing, twisting my legs and pushing against the mattress, as if something inside me was trying to force its way outward. The pastor opened his bag and took out a small bottle. Even before he uncapped it, I felt a sudden wave of dread. My stomach tightened so hard that I almost vomited, but nothing came up. When he opened the bottle, the air around me felt colder, and the heat inside my body reacted violently. My back arched again, and I cried out loudly. The cry was high-pitched and raw. It hurt my throat. He said he was going to begin the rite. The moment he spoke the first sentence, I felt pain unlike anything I've experienced. It was not like being burned or cut in a normal sense. It felt as if the words themselves were pushing into my skin, pressing through the surface and into the muscles. Each word was like a separate impact. When he continued reading, the impacts multiplied, and I began to thrash harder. I twisted my neck, kicked the bed, and tried to roll away from the sound, but my sister held my shoulders and the pastor stayed close. When he sprinkled the holy water onto me, the pain changed. It became sharp and immediate, like acid being poured onto my skin. The water touched my arms, chest, and face, and each drop felt as if it burned straight through to the bone. I screamed again, louder than before. The water ran down my neck and soaked into my shirt, and wherever it spread, the burning sensation followed. I twisted so hard that my body lifted partially off the mattress. The pastor continued reading. The words kept hitting me like blows. I could feel them moving inside my ears and down the sides of my throat. The more he read, the more intense the stabbing sensations became. At times, the pain was so strong that my vision went white. I felt my hands clawing at the bedsheets, but I could not control them. Every time the pastor poured or threw more holy water onto me, the burning sensation ignited again. I remember him splashing it across my forehead, and the pain was so intense that I screamed until my voice gave out. After that point, the screaming became raspy and weak, but the pain did not lessen. The water ran down the sides of my face, and each trail felt like a line of fire that I could not wipe away. Near what I believe was the end, the burning sensation became concentrated in my throat and chest. It felt like something inside me was tearing itself loose. My entire body seized, and I twisted onto my side. I felt pressure in my lungs and could no longer draw a full breath. The pastor shouted another line from the right, and the stabbing sensation struck again, this time stronger than before. I cried out, or tried to, but very little sound came out. I could not control my limbs. My legs kicked at the mattress while my arms jerked upward. Then the pain hit all at once in every part of my body. It felt as if the burning and stabbing sensations combined. My body convulsed so hard that my head slammed back against the mattress. The pastor threw more holy water onto me, and the burning intensified to a peak I cannot describe. I screamed weakly and felt my entire body jerk. After that moment, the sensations began to decrease. The burning faded first, then the stabbing pain gradually lessened. My muscles loosened, though I was trembling and exhausted. I could still hear the pastor, but the words no longer caused sharp impacts. They only caused mild discomfort that faded slowly. When the ordeal ended, I could not speak. My sister helped me sit up, but my limbs were weak and shaking. The pastor prayed quietly for a while longer, but I could barely hear him. My body felt drained, and I could barely keep my eyes open. The heat inside me had faded entirely, leaving only soreness throughout my muscles.